As a business owner, I'm sure you're good at what you do. This you can probably do well. This you can probably do well. But stuff gets added on your plate, stuff gets dropped. Hey guys, Troy from Line in the Sand Marketing here. How are you doing today? So I'm going to come do a quick video just talking a little bit about what Line in the Sand Marketing is about. Just a little backstory on me. I first got exposure to business when I was 14, 15 years old. I worked for a small mom and pop type company. And one thing I learned from that company was, and not just that company, but other small companies, is the need to grow and change and understand the market and what's going on in those areas. So we're designing a company. Our niche is basically going to be small to medium-sized businesses who really don't have the resources of large conglomerates that can afford in-house marketing, in-house social media editors, and all these type of things that really business needs to be at in today's space. So just back to that small mom and pop company that I worked for, I remember I'd been there several years, and I began to push the owner probably in early 2000s to make some changes. He was very old school and focused on the phone book and advertising in the phone book, and that's all we needed to do. And I remember having a conversation that, hey, your kids or grandkids probably won't even know what a phone book is. And how true is that even today in 2021? Most people probably under the age of 50 don't even have a phone book in their house, probably. Not that there's not value still there, and I know there's some common areas where phone books are out and people can look up, and there might still be some justification to be in that space. However, it's a crucial that we understand how the market goes, and quite frankly, a lot of small business owners, they're good at what they do, whether it be plumbing or painting or flooring or baking or dog grooming, and they're good at that. But the reality is some of them have no idea how they should be advertising, what their web presence should be like, what SEO is, and how it affects business. How do we drive traffic? Because we can't just, back to that small mom and pop company, unwilling to change. That company that I worked for back in the 90s had huge potential, had a great brand, had a great location, and probably could have ended up being a household name in that space. It was a plumbing company, and now there's plumbing companies out there with 50, 70, even more trucks on the road that are household names. But he was unwilling to grow. And I guess 2000s, early 2000s, I kind of seen that coming and made some changes. But so I went ahead and made a move in a different direction. And that company that could have been huge with huge potential end up really declining after that, down to, I'm not sure if it's still open today or not, maybe, but it never really grew any further because of the importance of, you have to be willing to grow and change, get out of your comfort zone, and have different perspective on, well, it's always worked, so it's going to continue to work. That doesn't work. It absolutely does not work. You have to grow and change and challenge yourself and get out of that comfort zone of what you know has worked, because without innovation, without change, the company is not going to be a viable producer and a competitor in the space. So I think that's important. So I went a different direction. I actually went to the very opposite end of the spectrum, to a large conglomerate which does an amazing job at marketing and targeting and taking care of the customer that customer care and the way everything is done, because they have the resources available to do all these wonderful things from a marketing standpoint, advertising, customer follow-up, web presence, social media presence, and it is really, it's the leader in our space for what services that they offer. So I went from one end of the spectrum to the other, and in that space, I was in charge of a multi-million-dollar department with several employees and everything under me, and I had a huge learn. It's a very, very great growing curve for me there. So taking away from both sides, the small mom and pop company all the way up to the large international conglomerate. So taking from both of them, I feel that I'm in a really good place to be able to bring a tremendous value to the small and medium-sized company of this excellent customer service, web presence, all of these things that are so crucial to drive customers to them without having this huge budget to be able to have all this stuff in-house. That began to put some awareness in me how important it is that, again, small and medium-sized businesses that can't afford these type of marketing or different advertising departments that can do all this stuff for us. So I felt there was a good need. I think our goal is basically, again, small to medium-sized businesses. Our goal is, number one, is to free up the owner. You know, when you start a business, you have these dreams and aspirations to do what you love and be passionate about what you do and bring value to people and do all these things. And I've had a business myself, owner-operator, and it went from, you have the first few months or maybe even a year of excitement and freedom, but really it ends up becoming drudgery because you're buried in the advertising and the paperwork and all these things that you're dealing with trying to run the company when you can't be out there growing the company. But again, it's a tough spot because you can't afford a $70,000 a year marketing person that does all these type of things and run all these type of gap analysis programs and does all these things to know what you need to do. So it's really a tough spot where large companies can afford to bring these people in and do these things. So one of our goals is to free up the owner. How do we do that? Well, we're going to be problem solvers. The best way to bring value to a customer is to be a problem solver. You sit down with that customer and you hear what their problems are. So we're going to approach it as, it's not going to be cookie cutter for us. It's going to be, we're going to come in and sit down, evaluate where are your problems as an owner. And then from that, understanding where those problems are, we're going to create a plan. And typically that plan can be growing your customer base and increasing revenue, right? Come alongside of small and medium-sized business owners and be a help to you in various ways, whether it's hiring, interviewing, setting up a business plan, working on best practices, designing an employee handbook, from a disciplinary standpoint to setting goals and achievements, mentoring your employees, having an onboarding process to where they can come in and really kind of free you up to do what it is that you love to do, and that's to grow your business and to have a vision and to continue to provide a service for your customers. So we're pretty excited about that area as well, to be able to come alongside and be a part of your onboarding process, customer service, marketing, social media presence, internet presence as far as your website, and how do we create an environment where we are literally driving traffic to your business 24/7 without you even knowing it, without you stressing and worrying about it. That's really the goal of, that's the lifeblood of a company. If the phone's not ringing, if the emails are not coming in, there's no fire, there's no fuel, there's no oxygen coming into that company, and we know what happens. And many times owners just end up so stressed. Does this look familiar? You find yourself in the day-to-day operations in your company wearing not one, not two, not three, not four, but maybe 5 different hats, where you're literally trying to be the customer service representative, you're running the website, you're trying to advertise, you're trying to follow up, and you're trying to build the business, take care of payroll, deal with those problem customers, hire people, and still have a good day. So that's where we come in at Line in the Sand Marketing LLC. You're trying to do all these things, and you end up being so far from what you started out doing, which was doing what you love, being your own boss, and doing these things, to kind of really stressing. And I know because I was there. And I end up closing my business, I don't know, maybe 2008, something like that. And so it was a huge learn. So what are some of the ways that we're going to do this? So our plan, number one, is a social media presence. A lot of business owners, small to medium-sized business owners, have no idea what that looks like. But it is so important to have a social media presence for your small and medium-sized company nowadays. You're leaving so much potential on the table. If you don't have a social media presence, the networking is amazing. In that space, it's so easy to get the word out, to get exposure, and to build a brand for your company, not only locally, but nationally, depending on what your goods and services are. So we're going to focus and show you how to do a social media presence. And again, we can do as little or as much as you feel comfortable. We can design a Facebook and Instagram page for you. We can run it. We can put content on it. We can do a lot of different things as an administrator, and or you can be as much as hands-on or as little hands-off as you want to be. But that is huge. That's got to be a focus for small to medium-sized business. And who has the time, right? I personally have been there. I know several business owners that they literally work longer than any one of their employees running the day-to-day operations of the business. And there is no time. There's no time to do a lot of stuff like this. But we literally, to really 10x that revenue and get that traffic pounding in and really get that brand out there, social media is a huge space right now that we've got to be in as small and medium-sized businesses. Number 2, focus on website and emails. Got to have a website. You got to have a very good, clean website that has information, content, what you're about, because that is a platform that is really going to, it's a springboard your presence into the web, and how you're going to do a lot of things, from landing platforms to sales funnels, all these type of things that you really need to really bring in the traffic. Again, and the phone book's dead. I remember when I had my company, the goal was to be able to get a billboard. If I could just spend enough money to get a billboard on 695, you're there. You've arrived as a business owner, and that was huge. And that was kind of competition. I remember back in those days, in some of the other businesses that I knew, it's like, man, who could be the first to get a billboard? Advertising now has changed so dramatically, based presence, that it's pretty incredible to see how that works. So we're going to focus, and again, website design. We can build a website for you. We could admin the website. Goods, services, products, we can do a lot of that stuff. You can spend as little or as much as you want letting your website become automated and sell for you, and do a lot of really cool things for you, like emails. Emailing is important. You've got to design and have and run an email program from your customer base. And this is an automated program that will literally, when you have a customer and you provide a service for them, they're automatically going to get a follow-up email with maybe a short survey, recommendations, other products that they may want to be interested in. And then we can also set them up on a maintenance email. Well, weekly, monthly, daily, whatever your parameters are, that customer will get an email from you. So you're continually driving your value and your content in front of them. It's absolutely huge. And the conversion rate on those automated emails is pretty impressive over a period of time. And it costs really very little to have that email going out, which is night and day. No matter what, where you're at, what you're doing, you're reaching out to your customers. And also that can be also a text-based program. SEO, search engine optimization. Absolutely a game changer for small, medium businesses. Why? Again, I don't have a phone book. I'm 47. I couldn't tell you the last time I've had a phone book. When I need something, what do? I'm a pretty average guy, so I'm just going to go off of that. I pull out my phone and I say, hey Siri, or I say, hey Google, or I type it in, I want Chinese food, or I need this or that, or whatever I'm searching for, I'm going to search it up on my phone. And absolutely, and we can do this for you. It's called a gap analysis. We will see where you're at, what's your web presence like. If we Google your business, where do you show up? And where could you be as far as ratings like Yelp and a lot of different platforms that will rate your business. And if you Google your company and see how many stars, how many reviews you've had, and that is absolutely huge. And don't fall into that trap and have it, and many of us have probably done this, where you pay these companies to come in and set you up and you pay per click. You can spend a lot of money very quickly, and it's not necessarily profitable. It can be, and depending on how you approach it, I'm not belittling the pay-per-click plan, but there's a lot of other ways. Again, small and medium businesses operating on a pretty slim margin. We don't have thousands of dollars a month to be spending on pay-per-clicks and things like that to bring in that customer base, and that's where we come in. And do some research. Marketing companies and things like that, they are charging thousands of dollars a month to do some of these simple things that we literally can come in hands-on for much cheaper with a much higher value in this area of small to medium-sized business. So I'm pretty excited about it. I feel like I bring value to the marketplace because I've been there. I've been there and watched. I've experienced the go out in the field all day, come home and do paperwork all night, worry about how the phone's going to ring, worry about all these type of things, and do all these things. And we burn ourselves out, number one. Number two, things start getting overlooked. And that's where our value, our brand, our customer base begins to suffer, and it really can be quite stressful for a business owner in this area that cannot afford these in-house systems to do all this stuff. So I'm really excited about it, and I hope you guys will give us an opportunity to come into your company. We have a bunch of different plans that we're working on. We can come in, free consult, take a look at where you're at, take a look at where you'd like to be, and give us an opportunity to put together a plan. No obligation, no cost to you, to say, hey, here's where you're at. This gap analysis, again, here's where you're at. Here's where you could be. We will ask to sit down with the senior management and get a vision for the company. And we'll take that, and based on where you're at and what you would like to do, and really create a plan that we can get you 10xing on your revenue, on your customer base. And really, I see business owners, I know several of them personally, that they are so entrenched in the day-to-day operation that they literally have lost their drive or vision for where their company is going. And instead of working on the company, they're working in the company. And I'm not in any way being crucial or critical of anyone, because until you've walked in those shoes and carried the stress and the responsibility of payroll and advertising and all of these things, It's a tough spot, and I really respect you small medium business owners out there doing all these things every day, day in and day out, providing a service, taking care of your employees, and doing all of these things. Think of the value if you have a partner that can come alongside of you and say, hey, what can I take off of your plate for a very reasonable fee, for something you can actually afford, to be able to free you up to grow the business, to do the things that you really started out to do, and see the benefit from what we can come alongside of you and be a partner with you to grow your company. Thanks for your time, everybody. Have a great day, and we will talk again soon.